often say that with great power comes the ability to never lose to damage in standard. I don't know if that's exactly how the quote goes, but let me show you what I mean. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition, and our first Spider-Man / Through the Omen Path edition of Against the Odds. And we have a fun one this week. We're heading to our new standard format to play some With Great Power combo, and I've been waiting to build this deck ever since spoiler season, so let's talk about what we're trying to do with Great Power, chosen by Velgavoth. Jump into some games, see the deck in action. So today we are built around a new Spider-Man card with great power, which for our purposes is also chosen by Velgavoth because we have reached the point where sets have two different names in arts, depending on whether it's an arena or in paper, which is even more miserable than I thought. So Wizards, please don't figure out a way around this in the future somehow, because it's really, really bad. But anyway, the card in paper is with great power. For us, it's chosen by Velgavoth. For the rest of the video, I'm going to be using chosen by Velgavoth because it's going to make more sense because that's the card that you'll actually see on screen. But they are the same exact card, kind of, except for the art in the name. So anyway, what does this card do? It's a 4-mana enchantment. It enchants a creature you control. It gives it +2/+2 for each ornament equipment attached to it. Not relevant for our deck. Very relevant for our deck, though. All damage that will be dealt to us is instead dealt to the enchanted creature. So the goal of our deck is simple. We want to get chosen by Velgavoth on a Ketramose, or our one backup Ketramose in Bar Observator, but on an indestructible creature. So the idea is if we have an indestructible Ketramose, we put chosen by Velgavoth on it, any damage that's dealt to us goes to Ketramose, but Ketramose, since it's indestructible, can take any amount of damage, so we just can't die to damage for as long as this is on the battlefield. So that is the goal of the deck. The other important part of this deck is protecting the combo, because in theory, if we get chosen by Velgavoth on Ketramose, we just can't lose to damage forever. So the game could go on for many, many turns until our opponent eventually mills out. The problem is, if our opponent can deal with chosen by Velgavoth or Ketramose, we're probably going to die that turn. So we have Restoration Magic to protect our combo pieces. And you're probably thinking, do you even need to protect Ketramose? It's indestructible already. But there's a couple reasons why Restoration Magic, which for 1 mana can make any permanent hexproof and indestructible for the turn, is really important. So one is, even though Ketramose is indestructible, it can still be bounced, it can still be exiled, so this gives us a way to fizzle it into the Flood Maw or a Ride's End or something. The other important part of this is chosen by Velgavoth is not indestructible, so even if our opponent can't deal with the Ketramose, if they have enchantment removal that can kill chosen by Velgavoth, that still is going to fizzle our combo. So Restoration Magic is just kind of a catch-all to protect our combo pieces, make sure the lock stays in place. The final piece of the combo, Feldon's Cane. So Feldon's Cane, a 1-mana artifact that you can tap in exile to shuffle your graveyard into your library. So my concern was, okay, we set this lock up, we make it so we can never die to damage. What if this goes on forever? And since we have Ketramose that draws cards as things go to exile, what if we draw more cards than our opponent and we end up milling out first, even though we can't die to damage? That would be really, really sad. So Feldon's Cane is my attempt to make sure that if that happens and we get in this really long game where our opponent can never kill us because of Ketramose, we're going to end up winning eventually because we can shuffle our graveyard back into our library, so our opponent will mill out before us. As far as the rest of the deck, Maze Mindstone gives us some card filtering, a little life gain eventually. Biza gives us some life gain, stabilizes against aggro while we're setting things up. And then we have a bunch of removal, much of it that works with Ketramose. So Not on My Watch, Strategic Betrayal, Rides in the End, all exile things so we can draw cards with Ketramose. Deadly Cover-Up collects evidence, so we can draw cards that way by exiling cards from our graveyard. Deadly Cover-Up, also really important to the deck, because remember, I was talking about how important it is to protect Ketramose. And the way I think of this deck is almost like Lantern Control or something, where when we get our lock set up, we want to be thinking, what answers could our opponent possibly have to deal with Ketramose, to deal with Chosen by Velgavoth, and Deadly Cover-Up really helps here. Not only does the collect evidence, exile all the copies of something effect, let us see our opponent's deck so we get the information on, do they have any answers to our combo? What do we need to look out for? But we can also just potentially exile those answers to make sure our opponent can't use them. So it's really, really good in the deck. Mana Beast, pretty straightforward, bunch of dual lands, some Fountain Ports for value, and that is With Great Power or Chosen by Velgavoth combo. combo. And that's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see if we can win some games of Spider-Man Standard by making it impossible for us to ever die to damage. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap-up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Against odds time, we are playing some With Great Power combo, or Chosen by Velgavoth, I guess, depending on where you're playing this card. Wizards, seriously, this name thing. What are you doing? What are you doing, Watsy? And this hand looks fine. Felden's Gain is a little awkward. That's more of a late game card, but we got Ketramose. That's combo piece number 1. We got a bunch of removal, got some protection. But the main idea of this deck is to play Ketramose. It's indestructible. Put With Great Power on Ketramose. So any damage that's dealt to us goes to Ketramose. Protect the Ketramose. As long as it lives, we can just never lose to damage, which is kind of hilarious. So that's the idea of the deck. We'll see if it works. Well, there's combo piece number 2. We actually have literally the full combo. We just need lands. Opponent starting down and Quint's Insight. All right, gonna do a little looting. Well, let's play the Godless Shrine and play the Felden's Gain. I will say, for the rest of this video, I am going to use Chosen by Velgavoth to describe the card. Just know, if you're playing in paper, it's With Great Power, but I don't know a better way to handle this. It's too weird to just say multiple names every time, so yell at Wizards if you want to yell at someone. It was their choice. And, oh, from the graveyard, look at the combo. Exclusive Nightclub coming back from the graveyard. A little Mayhem land action and another Quint's Insight. I mean, none of this matters, assuming we get our combo locked up and draw land. Okay. Maze Mind's Tome is not a land, but that should allow us to find a land for next turn. Let's actually just start scrying here. All right, there's a swamp. That's good. So next turn we can play Ketramose, potentially. We're still at 19. We have no creatures on the battlefield. I mean, our opponent's going to start popping off with Mayhem, I imagine, because they get to double rummage. Quint's Insight has actually looked very good. I think that card's actually legit. I mean, I had it kind of pegged as one of the best cards in the set as soon as it was spoiled for okay, Summon Bahamut. It was a card that I immediately thought was one of the better cards in the set. So and Arden, oh my god, if they can reanimate here. Oh, we have the answers, we just don't have the mana. Ooh, okay. This is pretty bad for us. Opponent gets to copy the Arden. Wow, okay. They copy the... Interesting. Why wouldn't you copy the Arden and reanimate? Oh, all right. I don't know why they didn't reanimate. That's fine. Instead, they go Summon Bahamut. They blow up our Scry Machine, which is annoying. But I guess it's better than the Arden into Summon Bahamut. And this kind of works out, because now we get to Strategic Betrayal. If they had done it the other way, they'd have 2 creatures and we wouldn't have been able to answer them. So I think we got kind of lucky that our opponent did not go on the Arden plan. Opponent still gets to double loot. All right, we need to find time to get this Ketramose down. So our opponent's Rakdos or maybe Grixis. We saw Summon Bahamut. One of the things to think of with this deck is kind of like Lantern Control, is what answers does my opponent have to an indestructible creature or an enchantment? Opponent Overlord of the Mailmark, because we want to cut them off. Oh no, another one of the Symbiote Spider-Man. So I'll play the land, get down the Ketramose. Next turn we can do the thing. Are we still alive? Good thing we exiled the graveyard that one turn, but double Quint's Insight, they're going to find something, right? Okay, well, thankfully, Ketramose, indestructible. So we need to get rid of the Summon Bahamut, because those can blow up Chosen by Velgavoth. So if we don't get rid of those, none of this matters. Opponent pangs us, Mayhem land from the graveyard. Are we doing it? Are we doing some cloning? The Graveyard Clone. Yup. I've been working on a deck with the Graveyard Clone that's probably coming up on Friday for Mucha Brew, but that card's way better than it looks. Opponent, Incinerator or the Guilty as a 4/4. Gonna get in, gonna do some milling. We really would like to draw a land here. I think in our dream world, we draw a land, Deadly Cover-Up, get rid of the Summon Bahamuts. Right, Zen. I don't think we can just slam the Chosen by Velgavoth, right? Because then the Summon Bahamut is gonna end up destroying it, and then we're kind of out of luck. We're getting closer to turning on Ketramose. The life gain would be nice. Do we just... Yeah, let's just put an end. This is actually kind of nice. It gets rid of all those Symbiote Spider-Mans or whatever it's called. Caraviro. which is probably the best card in our opponent's deck. And now we get to see what answers they have, which I think it's really Summon Bahamut. It's really Summon Bahamut, right? Like, as long as we get rid of the Summon Bahamuts. So we need to draw a land. All right, there's a land for next turn. So we need to draw a land. Deadly Cover-Up, exile all the Summon Bahamuts. And then it looks like that is deterministically, hopefully, the win. Like, if we put the Chosen by Valgavoth on the Ketramose. Opponent, Lazov. Sure. So opponent's deck's just all about cloning stuff from the graveyard, looks like. Another Quinn's Insight. I mean, thankfully that deals damage. So once we get the Chosen by Valgavoth down, we don't have to worry about that killing us. We can still lose to loss of life. Keep that in mind. So like a Blood Artist Drain effect or something, that can actually get around because it only prevents damage. Bounty gonna hit us down to 6. Sure, whiffs on the Bailmerk. All right, Bounty gonna pass. Well, all right, let's execute our plan. Deadly Cover-Up. Wrath them all. Collect a bit of evidence. I think we actually just over-exile, so we turn on Ketramose. We're not really using the graveyard anyway. So the Feldon's Cane is just because I was afraid we might kneel out with the lock. I don't know how relevant it's going to be. So blow everything up. Get rid of Summon Bahamut, which I think is the last thing that our opponent has that can actually interact with this, right? Oh, no, the Whale. Okay, the Whale of Forgotten can bounce. Okay, that's fine. We have 2 Restoration Magic. So our opponent's not deterministically dead yet because they do have the Whale that could try to bounce the Ketramose. But with double Restoration Magic in hand, I think we should be able to protect through that. So I think this is the win. Plus, we're back up to 8 thanks to Ketramose. That is the only awkward thing about this lock, is Ketramose, once it's turned on, is actually, like, kind of a good clock. So I don't know how many games we'll have that just go on forever, because we might accidentally just kill our opponent, even once we get the lock. Opponent, Lazov. Sure. Kind of forgot that Lazov was actually in Standard. What are we doing, opponent? Opponent gonna pass. Well, I mean, the time has come. The time has come, my friend, for Chosen by Valgavoth on the Ketramose, and I think we attack. I mean, we could just sit here and be like, haha, you can't kill us, but that feels a little BM to me. So I think we actually have to attack if we have a shot. Quinn's Insight, gonna do a bit of looting. Discards land, and discard. They have the 3 Quinn's Insights. Our opponent has seen so much of their deck. Quinn's Insight, so impressive. I think it's actually going to be very, very good. Plus, you get some damage out of it. It's a very strong card. Looking at the Ketramose. Oh, there's the Whale. Well, good news. No, not Ketramose. Not you. All right. Restoration Magic. I don't even think we tier it. Actually, do we? Yeah, I don't think we tier it. I think we just leave up in case they have a second Whale or something. All right, hexproof. We will discard a second Ketramose. The nice thing about Restoration Magic is it protects any permanent, which means not only does it protect Ketramose, but it's also 1 mana, prevent our Chosen by Valgavoth from getting blown up by enchantment removal. Opponent. I think we're good, though. Our opponent has, what, 2 more Whales? I mean, I guess, well, no, but our opponent's just gonna die, right? Opponent gonna turn into a copy of Arden, but they're just dead here unless they have a blocker? So exile Arden, sure. Lazov, too late to trigger the Arden, draws a card, hits us, but it's actually Ketramose. Yes, that is the great power. That is the great power that we have, and now kill you? Wow. All right, well, that went pretty much exactly like we hoped. Like, that's how we drew it up. And it's always nice when you have a plan and the plan actually works. But, yeah, I mean, with great power on the Ketramose, kind of tough to beat. Seeing if we can put on a Ketramose to make it so we can never die to damage. Actually, yeah, it's so sweet. I love pry effects about it. Well, all right, there is Chosen by Valgavoth. Combo piece number 1. So now we need a Ketramose. And we need to figure out what answers our opponent might have to our shenana guy. Let's get down to Maze Mind's Dome. See if we can find that Ketramose. I mean, we got a bunch of removal, which is nice. Opponent land and... Alright, Dustmourn's Claim. This should be fun. So, this is what? Parker Luckin paper? But on our opponent's end step, we're each going to reveal a card. Yeah, let's put that land to the bottom. And then we take damage equal to our each other's cards and draw that card. Flip it. All right, we take 0, opponent takes 2. Oh, and there's a Ketramose. All right, thank you, opponent. Huh. That is a way around our lock, isn't it? Because it's loss of life. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So even with Chosen by Velgavoth on the Ketramose, we can still die to life loss, which means we can still die to that enchantment. I imagine if our opponent's playing it, they've built around it, although we can also try to do a little scrying to set our biggest stuff on top. Rides End, okay. We will keep a Rides End. We don't even really need a Rides End, but that's 5 at your face. And opponent... opponent ain't got no Parker luck, that's for sure. So far, our opponent's played 3 mana to play that enchantment and taken 7 damage from it, and we've taken 0. I almost want to cast Strategic Betrayal just to trigger the cat. We have so much removal that's not doing anything. We're only exiling a single. If they had a fuller graveyard, I would definitely do it. But I guess we just pass. We can leave up removal, Maze Mind's Tome, make a fish or something. About it. So some graveyard synergies. About it. Gonna play a Shadowy Backstreet. Sure. Huh. So Collector's Vault makes me think Reanimation. That's usually a card you play in a Reanimator deck. Let's just scry. Put a Maze Mind's Tome to the bottom. And then we can make a fish token. Get the beatdowns going. We gotta get some damage going. All right, let's see what happens. Duskmourn's Claim. Opponent takes 4, we take 2. Man, this is coming up all in our favor. And yeah, this lets us trigger Ketramose. Draw a card. Land, please. Maze Mind's Tome. All right. And then we scry. There's a land for next turn. I mean, I think... it means our opponent takes 0 off the enchantment, but I think we still got to keep it. I think, actually, let's just play the Maze Mind's Tome and draw it. This means we're tapped out. We're not leaving up interaction, which hopefully is not a bad thing. Our opponent hasn't played any creatures yet, but at least this lets us hit our land drop. We are going to have to discard the hand size. This hand has a ridiculous amount of removal. Like an absolutely absurd amount of removal spells. If our opponent ever plays a dang crow... Ooh. Oh, Herald. Herald of... Oh, are they playing Mr. Negative? This might be a Mr. Negative deck. All right, well, we can go down to Rides End. Maybe both Rides End. I think I see what they're doing. They're doing Parination Reanimation shenanigans. That's what our opponent's doing. They're trying to make the indestructible Herald and then do the Mr. Negative life swap. Mr. Negative is one of the coolest cards from the set. That's for sure. We played it a bit on stream. The number of opponents who would hit you to... Oh, okay. Well, Reanimation with Anti-Venom, and now End Step. Land in land, so no one takes damage. So there's a Herald. We do need to deal with this. We can just Deadly Cover Up, I guess. That's pretty good. Deadly Cover Up, get rid of both cards. Trigger Ketramose, draw. This might actually turn on the Ketramose, too. I think we just get rid of the Anti-Venom, because I think there should be more in their deck. All right, so I think this should turn on Ketramose. So Ketramose is turned on. We might not even need the enchantment. Get in, hit you, opponent. Down to 4. We go up to 22. Play the... Oh, we already played a land. Yeah, all right, discard the hand size. Well, let's get rid of the end. We know they have the Parination, so our opponent can reanimate the Angel. The problem is our opponent knows about Strategic Betrayal, so... If they just do that, we just Strategic Betrayal and win. I guess we should have paid closer attention to answers they might have to our combo. Rootin', Tootin', Lootin', discards. Ah, there it is. Okay, there's the Mr. Negative, or, I don't know, Mothman or something on Arena. With our Cocoon Lover. The name... There's Parination. Okay, this makes sense. So we're going to get back the Mr. Negative. Swap life totals. Oh, this is awkward now. So we go to 4, they go to 22. Oh, we could be dead here, actually. We gotta fade this. We gotta fade this enchantment. Come on. Land, please. Oh, okay. Wow, we almost died. We almost died. Well, okay. Strategic Betrayal. Get rid of the Mr. Negative. Exile your graveyard. Draw cards. So now, how do we play around? This enchantment? This enchantment's actually a problem now that we lost so much life. Well, it's this card. Yeah, not on my watch. Pass the turn. So you're probably wondering, why don't you play the enchantment? But it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop loss of life. It only stops damage. So Chosen by Valgavoth combo doesn't actually win the game for us here, opponent. Collector's Vault. So we need to leave up the restoration magic, not for protection, but to gain life. Because we know our opponent has expensive stuff in their deck. It is not impossible they hit something that costs 7. And then next turn, we can Maze Mind's Tome, get that up. We can gain 4 with Maze Mind's Tome. So basically, we're trying to like outpace this Parker Luck enchantment, which it looks so bad for our opponent to start the game. But and then when you realize that their plan is to lose as much life as possible, then it actually becomes good. Yeah, this is so awkward, but we gotta do it. Yeah, I mean, how about some hexproof and indestructible on you, Ketramose? More importantly, we gain 3. They should not have a 10-drop, I don't think, in their deck, so this should mean that we can't die to... Yeah, we might as well draw a card. Should mean that we can't die to the enchantment. Dustmourn's Claim, spin it to win it! Alright. We take 0 anyway, so I guess we didn't even have to do that. Okay, we're back out of the danger zone, because we get in with Ketramose. Opponent discards a land. Our 1 Barb Servitor. Well, alright, I guess we do the thing. Chosen by Valgavoth. With great power comes Ketramose. Cards having 2 names is the weirdest thing. Wizards, seriously. Seriously, Wizards. Maybe I'll get used to it eventually, I don't know. Get in! Get in with the Ketramose. Okay, so we're out of the immediate danger zone. Oh, this is going to get so awkward, though. So, we might be in a weird Death Shadow situation where the problem we have, if we just hit our opponent down to 2 or 3 with Ketramose, and then they go Mr. Negative, end of turn, enchantment, drain you out of the game, we can just lose. So I'm not sure we can afford to keep hitting our opponent unless we can actually kill our opponent. So we might incredibly awkwardly have to stop attacking at some point. I guess the Maze Mind's Tome helps that we can gain some life with that. Speaking of removal, our opponent also has an absurd amount of removal. It just doesn't do anything. All right, Dustmourn's Claim. Land and Maze Mind's Tome. Okay. Well, opponent's down to 7. Well, let's make a fish. I think we just leave the Maze Mind Tome sit out for now, because we might need to gain in response to the enchantment, the Dustmourn's Claim. Opponent discards the land. What a weird situation. So, like, it looks like we have lethal, but we know we don't because they have Bitter Triumph in hand. We know they have Bitter Triumph. So if we attack with everything, we know they can just kill the fish. Our opponent goes to 1, which might sound amazing, because they're like, oh, they might die to their own enchantment. The problem is if they have a Mr. Negative, then we die, almost assuredly. So I think we're gonna, like, wait. Put the land to the bottom. I guess we could deadly cover up at some point to do a hand check. This looks so weird. And you're probably yelling at me, but I don't know if we can attack here. I think we actually, it's so strange. We can attack with the fish. Actually, do we even attack? We're going to attack with nothing. We're just going to pass. We're just going to pass. That looks so strange. I know it looks strange. I know. I'm just very scared of Mr. Negative. Opponent, okay, they kill the fish, what they could have done anyway. So we'd really like to get to a situation where we have lethal and can win with just 1 attack and have our opponent die. So I guess in an ideal world, if they don't have Mr. Negative this turn to swap life totals, hopefully they take a little damage off of the enchantment, and then maybe just Ketramose can get him. Opponent does some looting. No Mr. Negative yet. Mr. Negative is such a... Oh, I love that card. It might actually be better than we think, too. My initial impression of playing with it is it's better than we think. All right, Dustmourn's Claim. Spinner to win it, spinner to win it. All right, opponent, okay, takes 1 to 6. Okay, that's actually all we needed. Wait, is this just game then? Well, in this case... Our With Great Power didn't do a ton, but what a weird, interesting game. This was just a really interesting, cool game. This was just like a really fun game of Magic. Mr. Negative has that effect. Opponent going to Harvester of Misery to try to shrink it to not die. We cannot afford to have this happen, so we are going to Restoration Magic for Hexproof. We need our opponent to die here. I'm just too scared of Mr. Negative. Opponent. Oh, okay, Bitter Triumph. That doesn't do anything. And... opponent's going out on their own terms, and well, that was one of the craziest matchups I played in a minute, but we got there somehow. With Great Power comes wins over Mr. Negative, apparently. with great power combo, seeing if we can make it so we can never lose by getting with great power on Ketramose. Oh boy, all right. Phenomena Recorder, or Peter Parker's camera. The Iron Craig. Well, this looks like an artifact deck, which kind of scares me. We have a Ketramose. Oh, if they have like a synthesizer though. All right, or a repurposing bay. That's also pretty bad for us. Opponent repurposing bay passes. Well, I mean, I guess we get down to Ketramose. Not doing much yet, but eventually it might draw us some cards at some point. We do not really have ways to deal with artifacts, so we are at the mercy. Oh, they can do some stuff, can't they? Because oh, this is gonna be so good. Well, we might see the power of Peter Parker's camera here. Repurposing bay. You gonna copy it? No. Synthesizer. I thought they were going to copy the repurposing bay and double it up. Oh, Perilous Snare. Yeah, this matchup seems bad. All right, Perilous Snare gets rid of the Ketramose. They even have clean answers to Ketramose, which a lot of decks don't. Like, a lot of decks really struggle to remove it, but this deck does not seem to care. Simulacrum Synthesizer number 2. Okay. I don't know if I've ever beat one. Well, I mean, that's a little hyperbolic, but I don't usually beat one Simulacrum Synthesizer. I don't know if I've ever beat 2 Simulacrum Synthesizers. Ugh, more lands, I guess. I don't even think we draw a card, which is awkward. Yeah, because the token just disappears. I mean, go? I'm sure this will be 5. Hey, how about 3? 3 Simulacrum Synthesizers. Feel like I'm in a Sesame Street video. About it. Hits us. Down to 4. I mean, we can deadly cover up. Not that it even really matters. I think we just Biza. Gain some life, make some chump blockers. The problem is with 3 Simulacrum Synthesizers, they just get to rebuild this board. Like, the first artifact they play just makes this board again. Like, I think this is an unwinnable. Wow, okay. Spectral Restitching, blink the board, and wow. Well, that was a good artifact draw, and the blink spell is cool. That blink spell is actually kind of interesting in the artifact deck. Because it can blink artifacts, so you can blink all the Simulacrum Synthesizers, have them come back on the end of your opponent's turn, and build a big board to get around Wraths. Sneaky, I like it though. Well, found it. All right, so web slinging maybe? When I see janky mana dorks, I assume you're probably trying to web sling off of them. The polluter's not that bad. It's just like you need another creature, but once you get going, it's fine. Found it. Oh, the mighty might. Emo Symbiotic Might. That's we know from experience that that's a pretty good card. Opponent hits us to 19. Well, we do have a Wrath in hand. I think our goal is going to be live until we can Wrath. Another Gene Polluter. Well, let's play the land. Get down, Big K. Could you imagine if Ketramose could just attack and block all the time? That would be such an absurd card. That would be very good right now. Ketramose is already pretty good, even with the God drawback. Opponent. Ooh, double might. You know what's scarier than a might? That would be 2 of them. Opponent. Going to pump and play a Gene more. Oh, they're like Gene Tribal. The might. You're gonna do a little pumping. We drop to 14. Okay, we do draw a land. I mean, drawing a land is big. It means there is some chance if we survive this turn, we get to untap, Wrath away the board, and maybe get back in this game. The might becomes a 3/3. I think I would love to hold on to the Not on My Watch for after the Wrath, but I think if this is, yeah, full send, we have to kill the smaller might, or else I think we just die here. So we have to kill the smaller might before the pumps start resolving. Fizzle a little bit of the damage. I mean, so I guess we're not taking that much now. We're not taking that much. Hey, Jill, okay. That bounces our Ketramose, but that is actually kind of fine. It wasn't doing anything yet anyway. Opponent passes. Well, we have some good news. There is a deadly cover-up. We cannot collect evidence, but we can get rid of a whole bunch of creatures. The Pawpaw. All right, with a baby. Well, let's play the Surveil land. This is the end. My one and only friend. I don't think we actually want it here. So we can play Ketramose, and then we take damage. If we just pass here, though, our opponent can't really attack, right? Because we can just fire up. Well, there's the Abororoid. Life has become much sketchier. You know what we need? We need, with great power, we need our enchantment chosen by Velgavoth. I mean, we had to block here. We take 2. We're dead next turn. We need to draw it. We need to draw it. Oh my god. Okay, chosen by Velgavoth. Untap. We got a shot. We got a shot. We got a shot. Opponent's only got one card in hand. Ketramose. It does not matter how big Abororoid makes your stuff if all the damage goes to Ketramose and it's indestructible. And we have the restoration magic in hands for once we untap so we can protect it. No way. No, Jim. Oh. Another bouncer. Ooh. It's CGB. Let's see what CGB is up to over there. This hand, ooh, we got the full combo. We have the full combo. That's Ketramose, chosen by Velgavoth. Well, let's play the land, get down the Maze Mind Stone. What is CGB up to? Looks like Orzhov shenanigans. Overlord of the Baelmerk. Card's so good. The Overlord cycle is such a good cycle. I really enjoy those cards. Like, the Overlord cycle, ooh. Double Bitter Triumph in Velgavoth. The Overlord's such a good cycle. They're cards that feel very strong, but I don't think they feel overpowered. They're not like VV broken. They're interesting, they're flexible, they're really good. I know they were really good when Zur was around, but I think that was more Zur. Zur being really good with just like expensive enchantments you could cheat into play, but the Terminus have returned. Perhaps better known as the Soul Stone. But you can't, I don't think we can say that if we're playing Arena. We might get sued. Maze Mind Stone, draw a card. Are there Spider-Man Pinkertons watching these streams to see if we call the Terminus Zone the Soul Stone? Let's play Ketramose. There actually might be. That is the kind of dystopia we live in. I mean, I guess it's not that bad, but we're getting there. Found it. Spider-Man. That's not a. I didn't mean that, Marvel. Don't Pinkerton me. I mean, random white 2-drop that is legally distinct from Spider-Man. Found it. Velgavoth. I mean, we'd be in trouble, except we have chosen by Heliod. If CGB cannot kill it, none of this matters. We can face down a Velgavoth. We don't care about a Velgavoth. Velgavoth doesn't do anything to us. Found it. Gonna get it and hit us. Sure. Down to 15. The Overlord unpens. Yeah, that's fine. Well, get rid of that Spider-Man. This also lets us just get rid of the Velgavoth, which is even better. Opponent's gonna sack it, so we don't get to drop the Ride's End. However, you know what card has been very impressive in this deck? That has been Strategic Betrayal. It's a card I've seen a couple of lists playing like 1 or 2 copies in the main in like best of 3, in like real standard, not early access standard. And now that I've started to play it, having a Tormod's Crypt attached to a Bad Edict is actually very good. And it even turns on our Ketramose. And we still have the Chosen by Velgavoth for combo shenanigans. And now the Soul's Terminus Stone is not as threatening without a graveyard. I think we're going to wait on the Maze Mind Stone here. Let's play a shadowy Backstreet. This match is kind of grindy. We'll keep another Maze Mind Stone. I mean, I think it's time. Chosen by Velgavoth. Put it on the Ketramose. You gotta kill it if you wanna. You gotta kill it if you wanna damage us. Hit ya. Gain some life. And I guess we just do this now. It's cute with Ketramose, even if we scry with Maze Mind Stone, because it exiles when it gets its 4th counter. We still get to draw off Ketramose, so up to 25. We got a Restoration Magic if there's some sneaky exile-based removal. I will say the Terminus Stone, I've seen a couple people play it so far. I think it's going to be very much like Virtue of Persistence, where it's fine. You probably see deck play 1 or 2 copies. There's going to be games where it wins the game for you, which is powerful on a 2-mana Mana Rock. Well, speaking of Virtue of Persistence, yeah, sure. If you got a second one, then we will Restoration Magic. I guess our opponent just gaining a little life. Unimpends the Overlord. Well, play the land. Do some surveilling. We might actually just have the beatdown win here. Like, yes, we have the combo going, but I'm not even sure if we really if we really need the combo at the moment. Maze Mind Stone. All the way up to 31. Untaps. Gonna get in with Overlord, do some milling. Massacre Worm, eh? I mean, Massacre Worms. It just doesn't be what. This deck's so funny that, like, some decks, yes, you hit Ketramose for 5, got him. Some decks just can't beat it. Some decks just can't beat it. Some decks don't care and can easily beat it. Other decks really struggle. Zombify. Gonna reanimate an Overlord. Gonna do some milling. Sure. Whiff. And scoops it up. And, well, with great power comes great victories. We are playing some With Great Power in Spider-Man / Through the Omen Path Standard. On one hand, we don't really need 2 Ketramoses. On the other hand, Maze Mind's Tome is pretty good. Bonnet land. Well, we will match your land with a Godless Shrine tapped. What are we simicking over there? Bonnet passes. Well, play the swamp, get down the Maze Mind's Tome. Ship the turn. Ooh, Teamer, okay. Twitching Dow, huh. I have not seen Twitching Dow in a while. I guess we don't need 3 Maze Mind Stones. That might, even for me, that might be a little much. Conceal Courtyard's fine. Let's get down the Ketramose. It's good to have the Ketramose on board, so then if we draw the With Great Power, whatever, chosen by Valgavoth, then we can just stick it right on and have the lock set up. Like the full lock, Ketramose With Great Power, some number of restoration magics. That is the hardest of the locks. Oh, okay. That is some form of Spider-Man. I know that. It's the web slingy one, or in webbing one. We'll keep the end. I think it's worth killing this, even though we're not going to get extra copies because it's the backside. Oh, it's a Scion of the Earth Spider deck. Interesting. With Kellen joins up. Oh, that's actually kind of, I might have to try building that. Kellen joins up with the new Flip MDFCs is actually very good, right? Because you can plot the front sides that are cheap, but then cast the back sides, which are not. So it's a way you can get some of the Flip Spider-Men on the battlefield way quicker than you would normally. Our opponent does need white. Oh, they have the Twitching Dow, duh. I was gonna say they need white mana, but Twitching Dow coming through. Opponent's kind of getting verged a little bit. Oh, verges. Verges. This is pretty bad for us, actually. So Kellen joins up, can plot something mana value 3 or less, which is gonna be the Miles Morales, or whatever it's called here, Sren. And then they can play the backside next turn. Yeah, that, I wonder if that could be an actual deck. I'm gonna have to try building that. That synergy seems pretty good with plot. Well, I mean, I guess we keep playing Maze Minds. Well, do we draw? If we draw now, we get to double draw. Yeah, let's do that. We get to double draw, we gain life. So we draw off Ketramose, we draw off the Maze Mind Stone, we lose the Maze Mind Stone. Oh, 2 Surveil lands, not ideal. Well, we'll keep Strategic Betrayal. So you get to play that for free? Yeah, I guess we just gotta pass. So we have 1 removal spell. We got another one coming. This is gonna be close. Oh no. The Save Your Board Spider-Man, not Spider-Man. Don't Pinkerton me, Marvel. Opponent gets a 3/2 with Flash. Oh, and he gets a, wow, this, okay. Kellen joins up, kind of popping up. Counter on everything. There's so many legends, opponent. Here comes the big one. First strike, haste, 4/3, counters, and I don't know if we can get through all this, honestly. I don't know if we can get through this. Yeah, opponent. Gonna add the counters to it. So we need to get a little lucky here, I think. Opponent. Their board has gotten super scary super fast. So we could rise on something, but I think we need the card draw. Man. That is an 8/7, and they still have a mana up to activate for hexproof. Okay, so there's a Strategic Betrayal. I think we need to draw another 2 mana removal spell this turn. So what we do, so we're gonna cast Ride's End. Actually, let's think about this. I think we Ride's End, so if we go after the 8/7, they can sack the 2-drop, fizzle it, we don't draw a card. If we go after the Twitching Dow, they probably don't sack the 2-drop, and then we get to draw a card with Ketramose. Basically, what we need to do is draw as many cards as possible as we cast our removal spells, because we need to draw another 2-mana removal spell to actually get rid of the entire board. And then we're okay. If we can do that, we're okay. So get rid of the Twitching Dow, draw a card. Trigger Ketramose. Oh, not on my watch is not good enough. We drew 2-mana removal, but not good enough. Now we get rid of the 7/6. The problem with not on my watch is they can make that thing hexproof again. Otherwise, it actually would have been perfect. Oh, Godless Shrine. Yeah, and that means we're actually straight up dead on board. Ouch. And this hand's fine. I mean, we got Ketramose, got some... Ooh, okay, Valley Might Caller. I was afraid for a minute it was going to be a Llanowar. I was like, oh, this hand is kind of slow against Llanowar, but Valley Might Caller is also kind of fast, but we can just ride Zen that at some point. What are we doing, Carlo? Ooh, Burrow Guard Mentor, okay. Grows the Might Caller, smacks us down to 18. Barb Servitor. We have not seen Barb Servitor. I think we probably end up cutting Barb Servitor. We're going to actually surveil away a removal spell because the actual end game here is getting enough lands for a deadly cover-up. Living long enough and drawing enough lands to deadly cover-up is how we win. Opponent, Cavern on Spider? Sure. Tarian Mauler, yep. Opponent, that's us down to 12. Maze Mind's Tome. Well, play the Restless Fortress. I don't know how this goes, honestly. I don't know how this goes. Let's Ride Zend. It grows the Mauler, sadly, but get rid of the Might Caller. It also shrinks the Burrow Guard a bit. Lands. We need land. If we go land, we win. Oh, no, Gloria. That's going to put more counters on things. Going to start Impulse drawing. Yeah, opponent. Well, did not hit a land. So those cards kind of just go to waste. That's kind of fine. Well, do we draw lands? If we don't draw land here... Okay, that's a land. That's a land. Not dead yet. Not dead yet. I mean, it's Biza time. Get down. Get down the Biza. Go back up to 9. Make a couple fishes. And now if we draw one more land, one more magic, untapped. You gotta be specific with the magic gods, because they don't always listen that well. It's gotta be untapped. But if we draw land, I think we win this game. If we do not draw land, your guess is as good as mine. Do we double block? We can double block and kill it. What's best? If we draw a Wrath, life is good anyway. What's best if we don't, or if we draw land? What's best if we don't draw land and get to Wrath? We could just chump block with a fish. We can Biza fish chump block. They kill the Biza. Yeah, I think we just double block. Like, we only lose one creature. We get rid of the Mauler. And this means if we don't draw the land, well then at least we can, okay, we did not draw the land. At least we can end something and remain not dead. And being not dead is actually very good in Magic. I don't think that's talked about it enough in Magic strategy and theory, but not dying is actually pretty powerful. Yeah, let's get rid of that card draw thing. Double Scrap Shooter and a Keen-Eyed Curator. All right. So opponent's like a... I don't even know. Woodland Animal deck? Got a few spiders. We got some raccoons. Ooh, okay. Well, now we can work on... Oh, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So we get down the Ketramose. We have the combo. The problem is they have 2 Scrap Shooters in hand. So we got to play around these Scrap Shooters. Opponent, Fate Weaver. I'm going to go attacking. Now, let's just chump with the fish. Chump with the fish. Oh, wait, that thing has trample? Oh, all right. Well, that was not wise. No one plays Burrow Guard Mentor, so I didn't even realize I had trample still. Well, Strategic Betrayal's fine. We still would love to draw land at some point. Strategic Betrayal. Unfortunately, their graveyard's not super full, so this doesn't turn on Ketramose. They can't really sack the spider well, they can sack the spider to the Strategic Betrayal. They can't really sack it to Tutor, or else then they lose a Burrow Guard Mentor. So Spider down, we get to draw a card. It is not a land. Although Restoration Magic is something. Man, we are so close. Do we play? Yeah, I think we play a Maze Mind Stone. I don't think we can die this turn. So opponent, their problem is, because they're playing all these caverns for some reason, they cannot actually cast all their double green spells. So there we go. The solution to the problem of having too many caverns is drawing another cavern to put on Raccoon. Scrap Shooter with a gift. Well, okay. Maze Mind Stone. We've been desperate for a land, and now I think we're going to put a land to the bottom because we really need an untapped land. It needs to be untapped, Magic Gods. Opponent blows it up. We get to draw a card. All right, Ride's End is not it, but it's something that can deal with a creature. We're down to 3. Land! Land, please. Come on. Oh, the end. Well, I mean, this is actually kind of fine. So we get to get rid of the Beauregard Mentor. Draw a card. And that's actually pretty good. We can gain back some life with the Ketramose, and then we can end the Scrap Shooter. And that gets rid of the one in hand too. So hit ya. Oh. I don't know why I was thinking the end was Hagra Mauling. For some reason, I was thinking you got a discount based on your opponent having a bunch of non-basic lands, but no, the end is 5 or less life. Okay, reading the card. Yeah, that would have been better to cast the end first. I was thinking, well, if we attack, maybe they chump block, but no, we should have just played the end. I don't think it's gonna matter in the end. But not the cleanest way to play that turn. I can't remember the last time the end's discount actually mattered. What are we doing, opponent? All right, Scrap Shooter number 2. Sure. Opponent's gonna go to combat, gonna go attacking. We were gonna ride Zen, get rid of the Scrap Shooter. I am surprised that we're still in this game, considering that we never drew land number 5, the land we've been waiting on. We're just gonna pass. We could the end during our turn to draw a card with Ketramose, but I think it's better just to wait and see what our opponent does. Opponent, Keen-Eyed Curator. Plus we're up to 10 now, so we're no longer under the immediate threat of death. That's why it's a motley crew of creature types. I don't know about Cavern with so many creature types, but yeah. I wish we could just draw a land. 1 Scrap Shooter. What other answers? Oh, wait a minute. I think it means our opponent's drawn dead. They do not have an answer. Let's get in with the Ketramose, see if they chump. If we put the enchantment on it first, they definitely are not going to chump. Let's get in. I don't think any of this actually matters, though. Like, none of this really matters because we just looked at our opponent's deck. They do not have an answer chosen by Valgavoth. So once we put the chosen by Valgavoth on the Ketramose, honestly, what I want to do, and I can't do this because it's just 2 BM, but what I'd like to do is just put chosen by Valgavoth on the Ketramose and just stop attacking and see how long it takes for our opponent to scoop. Unfortunately, I think that's just not very respectful to our opponent. So I think we have to keep attacking unless they have a creature that's big enough that it makes it so we can't reasonably attack, which they actually might, because they can turn on this Keen-Eyed Curator. Oh man, I forgot they can kind of burn us with this Keen-Eyed Curator, can't they? About it. Fate Weaver. All right, little Spider Tutor action. Well, tutoring's fine because we already looked at your deck and we know there is not something that messes this up. About it. Tap it. Sacking the Fate Weaver. Gonna do some tutoring. What are we finding? There's no answer in there. Like, tutor away, friend. There is nothing you can find that gets you out of this. Gonna go with a big trampler. You know what does not beat a Prion indestructible creature? That would be a big trampling 2-drop. About it. Gonna Keen-Eyed Curator, sure. I mean, they can turn on the Keen-Eyed Curator. There are the right card types to turn it on. Which I guess means, well, I mean, I guess we can just kill. No, opponent. No. I think maybe our opponent knows. Opponent gets in. All the damage goes to Ketramose because that is why we're playing Chosen of Valgavoth. Play land number 5 finally on turn number 79. And I think it just doesn't matter now. I think we got it. I think our opponent might intentionally be trying to get the game to end because they could just sit back on defense and then we couldn't attack with the Ketramose. But I think our opponent's swinging out. I think that's our opponent saying, we actually want you to kill us and we don't want to just sit locked forever. But maybe not. We'll see. Regardless, we got him. We did the thing. This has been, maybe we could just stop attacking here. Found it. Boris. It's a spider, man. There's always a spider. Oh, opponent's gonna stay on defense. Well, I guess we gotta win. Restless Fortress. Go to combat. Oh, well, that is what you do with great power. And there's the GGs, and opponent scoops it up, and well, Ketramose with great power. Pretty good. So what do we learn this week about With Great Power slash Chosen by Velgavoth in Spider-Man Standard? And I will say overall, record-wise, it was early access, so it wasn't tracked, but I think we won a bit less than 50% with the deck. It's a little bit slow, especially if we're on the draw. We have a ton of removal, but in some matchups, that doesn't really matter if our opponent can just curve out super quickly. So I think overall the deck's kind of mid in terms of how competitive it is. The good news is, we did get to see just how powerful Chosen by Velgavoth and Ketramose can be, where there were some matchups where it was quite literally unbeatable, where we just looked through our opponent's deck with Deadly Cover Up. We know our opponent cannot possibly answer the combo, and we just stick the Chosen by Velgavoth on the Ketramose, and we're just like, all right, whatever, like, we're gonna win eventually. The only disappointing part of this deck, what I had in my head, is we're gonna put the Chosen by Velgavoth on Ketramose, and then the game would go on for like 40 turns, and eventually our opponent would mill out in frustration because they could never kill us. But that normally didn't happen for two reasons. So one reason is, if that did happen, and we actually get the Chosen by Velgavoth on the Ketramose, a lot of times we just win with Ketramose, because Ketramose is a 6/6 menacing, lifelinking, indestructible creature, and I thought about just like not attacking with it, even though we could attack with it, and it just felt too wrong and like BM, so I couldn't actually get myself to do that. But that was one of the problems with the deck, is when things went well, we actually just killed our opponent sometimes, instead of having this long Chosen by Velgavoth with great power game. So that was one of the issues with the deck. The other issue with the deck is, if we actually got it set up and our opponent didn't have an answer for it, most opponents just scooped super quickly, like after a turn or two. So we never got that like 40 turn use Felden's Cane to shuffle everything back in, millie out game, because opponents, once they realize like that they can't beat us and how long it's going to take to win, they're just like, we're going to do another game. Thank you for playing. But all around, I gotta say, I love Chosen by Velgavoth, or With Great Power. I love Pariah effects. I think it's super awesome to have it back in Standard. And I do think that this lock, even though it's not super competitive, is super fun. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to mention, there are things that get around this, and we saw some of those in the game. If our opponent has a drain effect, something that says lose life rather than deal damage, that gets around Chosen by Velgavoth on the Ketramose, which leads to some kind of awkward situations. We played that one game against Parker Luck, or whatever the 3-mana black enchantment's called, on Arena, where each player reveals the top card of their library, and then you lose life equal to each other's mana values, and we almost lost to that even with the full lock setup. That led to one of the craziest games we played with that deck. That deck was so ridiculous, but that's something to keep in mind. So it really good at stopping damage, but there's some decks that can win without damage, and those are kind of the natural foil to With Great Power. But anyway, that is With Great Power comes great Ketramose, I guess. And that's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.